I have no idea. Things have gone the hell in a handbasket in the last 10 minutes. Okay, YouTube looks to be up. Rumble may be up. Let's see. Hope everybody's doing good this Monday. Copy. Live now on YouTube and Rumble. That's just what people are gonna get. Oh no. I don't know if it'll draw anybody in whatsoever, but 'tis the case. This is just what they're gonna have to deal with today. I need to do better with that. I need to do better. But it's alright. It's alright. Okay. I believe that we're live on both. I can barely see the chats over here. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It's just what we're going to have to deal with today. Okay. Nothing's going well. Nothing is going well on my end. Hope everybody else is having a better day than I am. Okay. Let's just jump right into it. Oh, of course. I was telling y'all it's been a rough one. Nothing is going right whatsoever. Is it working now? Let's see. Okay, I think YouTube's picking back up now as well. Yeah, nothing's going well, guys. Just absolutely nothing. But we'll start. Should be a quick one today. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Go ahead and drop a like if you would. And click subscribe on YouTube, follow on Rumble. Turn on notifications. I'm going to try and be more, consistent this week. I've been, going out, doing odd jobs. Gotta pay the rent somehow. So that's where we're at right now. But today is Monday, February 9th, 2026. This is episode number 51 of Addressing the Issues. Oh, that looks like it's going now. So we'll start off with what everybody has been talking about. The Super Bowl, or Slop Bowl, as I'll call it. That was the most slop I've ever seen in a 4-hour, 4.5, 5-hour time frame in my life. It's rather boring. Football was terrible. You told me I was watching a European sport until after halftime. I would have completely believed you. It was terrible. It was a field goal showcase, high school field goal showcase for the first half, 12-0, all field goals. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. As you can see, we've taken down the football. Football season's over. What a terrible send-off. Sitting here. I guess the last couple of hours, just trying to think, am I ever going to watch football again? I'll feel differently come August, but goodness, that is not the send-off you want to your season. The script writers did not cook. I know that's a great conspiracy, but if there's ever evidence that it's not scripted, it was whatever that was. There's no way that you're ever going to maintain an audience if that is the product you put out. But there's a lot of talk, there has been, about the halftime show. A lot of people upset. A lot of people didn't enjoy it. Me being one of them. It's rather interesting that you would select a performance for a football game that a majority of the audience does not understand. Which I thought, you could have done better. It's going to take a lot of answering next year with whatever they put together for the halftime show. I'm thinking maybe some Chief Keef. Maybe just put Ye up there. Let him go crazy for a few minutes. But it was absurd. Most of the audience didn't understand what was being said. Nobody knew who he was from the audience, me included. I was under the impression I was going to hear Despacito. It turns out that's Louis Fonsi and Justin Bieber, and Daddy Yankee. I like the Justin Bieber one. I think that's the best version. But we got Bad Bunny. Like I said, I thought I was going to get Despacito. I wasn't too upset. But it's not even from that guy. Nobody knows who he was. There was the Turning Point USA halftime show. Guess you could call it an alternative. Actually had 5 to 6.1 million concurrent viewers during the halftime of the Super Bowl. Meaning they put up pretty stiff competition. People, they picked with what they were watching. That's a lot of ad revenue lost from people flipping over to an alternative broadcast. And I think, the NFL should probably take that into consideration next year. Just that they lost all that ad revenue. I guess they sold the slots. They don't get any bonus money from those 5 million, the 6.1 million. And it's going to hurt their bottom line, if not this year, next year. But that's that. I mean, I was disappointed. I thought it was going to be, I guess, a different artist. There were a lot of people disappointed. They said they didn't understand what he was saying. And from all walks of life. I actually saw a Hispanics post, and he says, I'm Hispanic, and I don't even know what he's saying. And I'd agree. I mean, I know a little bit of Spanish. I only took 7 years of it. I know a little bit, but I didn't understand what he was saying, not much at all. There was one point during it, he's sitting there, and I actually leaned over to the person next to me and asked, is he talking right now or singing? Is he talking or singing? That's how bad the music was. I literally did not know whether he was just rambling for like a minute and a half straight or if this was actually part of his performance, part of a song. Apparently it was part of a song. He didn't start talking until the very end. There's also this crazy liberal misconception that, well, it's crazy on so many different levels, that the little kid that he had given the Grammy to during the performance, given his Grammy to, was allegedly the child that was detained by ICE. Now, the child wasn't detained by ICE. He's actually left by his father. ICE picked him up and went and got him McDonald's. So that's another huge misconception with that whole story. But we also have the idea that this child was selected to be represented by Bad Bunny. Turns out that this was just Bad Bunny representing himself at a younger age. But the virtue signaling is it's the currency that gets you by these days. It was a kid in front of a 19 probably 70s 80s TV, wood paneled, dressed in what looked like 1990s clothes, it's a lot more likely that was him representing him, or not him, but it was a representative of Bad Bunny himself as opposed to a modern child. Because, modern children don't dress like that unless he's claiming that all Hispanics have to dress 30 years in the past. I'd hope not. It's a rather poor insinuation, rather demented, in my opinion. I don't think that anybody has the dress like they're from 30 years ago now. Maybe he's just calling them poor. I don't know. I mean, he's obviously not poor. He's getting paid the big bucks to go ramble on television for 30 minutes. I'm actually surprised, given all the flags, that an American flag was included. I honestly am. But, at least the United States was represented at our own sporting events. So that's good. But the football was awful. Most interesting part was probably the streaker that wasn't even shown on television. I did some research. It's apparently a foreign exchange trader out of South Florida. Maybe he'd like to come on to the show after he's out of jail. I don't know. He's probably not in jail. The judge in San Francisco probably just let him go. No bail. Just let him walk free. San Francisco's crazy. There's obviously the ICE Defensive Player of the Year billboard that had absolutely enraged the local populace. I'd agree. That'll get us to our next story, which is on ICE, actually. Defensive Player of the Year. I'd agree. Great people defending our nation. But I guess back to the halftime show, there's also the fact that he is very, an outspoken figure on immigration. I don't think he has skin in the game being from Puerto Rico. It's not like you can be deported to Puerto Rico. It's a U.S. territory. Apparently not a lot of people understand that. It's not like you can be deported there. They're allowed to travel freely to and from the United States. There's also, the lineman part of it. They had electrical linemen. It was supposed to be a commentary on why, or on how there's a lack of power supply in Puerto Rico. The only answer I can come up to for that is pure corruption. I believe it's $100 billion that have been sent to Puerto Rico in, I believe, the last decade to upgrade their electrical grid. They still have rolling blackouts there. The only answer I can come to is corruption. I mean, $100 billion, you'd think it would look a little different than it did in the 1600s. But that's just not the case. I went through Puerto Rico once. Actually, there was a member of the travel group that was security, an armed guard traveling with us. It's not a great place. It's not a stellar place by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know why they're glorifying it, glorifying that they don't have electricity, glorifying, I guess, abject poverty, if that's what you want to glorify these days. I mean, that's what socialists do in general. But it was just a crazy woke show in general. There was the Stop Anti-Semitism ad, which was absolutely counterproductive by any stretch of the imagination. It's like so many more of those. Football has these all the time. There was the Black Lives Matter painted in the end zone. Absolutely redundant. They actually were doing the Stop Asian Hate thing for a while. Funny story about that is people figured out who was performing most of these hate crimes to Asians. and it was in fact black people, so the NFL got rid of that really quickly. That was pushed on us for a while. It's crazy. We've never seen, stop domestic violence from the NFL. I think that should be their next movement. I think it should be stop domestic violence. Have that painted on the end zones and see how the players react. Ray Rice would probably not approve of that, or would. It seems like half of the football players. I mean, honestly, it's every other week you see domestic violence come out of the league. You never heard any statements on that. But yeah, absolutely just virtue signaling. That's all we get from the NFL these days. That's why I don't know if I'll ever tune into another Super Bowl. I don't want to see stuff like that again. It's un-American, and it's childish by nature. It's me. That's all it ever is. It's like, why are you such bad people? Why be so bad people to me? It's absolutely insanity. It's people that are not willing to do actual research on anything. And it's just, it preys on the weak. Oh no, we lost it. All right, I'll be right back. Soon. Let's see if we're back. Okay. I think it's back. Okay. Let's see. All right, yeah, we're back. Sorry, I've got to figure this out. I don't know why it does this all the time now. It's probably the same reason why my computer makes random noises. But no, these things prey on the people who are weak-minded. People that have no critical thinking skills. And that's all the NFL does these days. It's all the media does in general. I'm not going to lie. It preys on people with no critical thinking skills. And we get deranged TikToks from it. I do want to see the TikToks that come out of, Mississippi and Alabama regarding the halftime show. We'll see those in probably a couple of days. They're probably still uploading them. Dial-up internet. It's a little slower than our modern Wi-Fi, but we'll see those soon. They're uploading right now. They've been uploading since last night. But we'll get on to the next topic. I don't know if I'll ever watch the Super Bowl again. It was silly. Bad football. It reminds me of a quote from the Roman Empire. Give them bread and circuses and they will not revolt. Only difference is the bread and circus is now calling for them to revolt. I think it was Juvenal that said that. It's kind of crazy now that the bread and circuses are telling us the revolt at halftime. But yeah, hopefully they'll get the message through the numbers that they produced this year that this just isn't sustainable. If they keep doing it, I'd hope the NFL just falls through. It'll be as bankrupt as the United States before you know it. And yeah, it was, lots of virtue signaling, which was football. I was supposed to just be watching football. I got virtue signaling. It's unfortunate. So our next topic, like I said, it would relate to ICE. So there is a new statistic coming out that says less than 14% of arrests by ICE were people with violent criminal records. Now, you would need to define what violent is. What is violent? Violence is assault. Violence is homicide. Violence is murder. But there are some key things that aren't included in this violent criminal record statistic. Some things that are really easy to mislead the public with. But things that were not included, I mean, albeit some of these are not violent, I would call all of these dangerous. I would call them evil. I would call them exploitive. But what is not included in this 14% is drug trafficking. That's not included. Distribution of child pornography is not included in this 14%. Burglary is not included in this 14%. I guess assuming, you walk into somebody's house and you don't beat them while you're robbing them. Fraud, stealing money, it's not included in this 14%. DUI is not included in this 14%. No matter how unsafe it is, I guess if you don't kill somebody while you're driving drunk, it doesn't count, I guess. That's what we're led to believe through this statistic we're being fed. Embezzlement, it's not violent, it's rather illegal. Solicitation of a minor is not included in this 14%. Human smuggling is not included in this 14%. Which is absolutely crazy. I mean, I guess if it happens to a kid, it doesn't count. That's what this, leads me to believe. But it does. It's degenerate behavior. It's evil behavior. It's illegal behavior. I mean, the list goes on. But we're led to believe that, 86% of these people are good people and only 14% were bad. I would argue that distributing child pornography is bad. I would argue that solicitation of a minor is bad. I would argue that human smuggling is bad. I would argue that all three of those have actual victims, have actual repercussions to people. I guess some people would argue these are victimless crimes. No, they're not. DUI, another one, not a victimless crime. I mean, if you think about it deeply, fraud, embezzlement, not victimless crimes. You're paying for that out of your wallet in taxes. Burglary, not a victimless crime. You're paying for it out of your wallet. Drug trafficking, once again, not a victimless crime. We have the most, at least I believe the most, I'm 99% sure it is the most overdose deaths by a nation on this planet. But, drug trafficking, it's not violent, it's fine. We'll let them sell the kids fentanyl. We'll let them sell the kids cocaine. We'll let the kids die on the streets in Philadelphia, die on the streets in San Francisco. But at least we have bread and circus there. At least we have bread and circus there. But you look deeper into this, it says that only 39% of people arrested by ICE have civil immigration charges only. So it means that a majority of these people have either prior criminal charges or convictions or pending charges. That means a majority of these criminals are doing more than just coming over here and picking strawberries and doing manual labor, like we're led to believe. We're led to believe all they do is come here and build houses. It's false. Arson's listed as one of these. I guess arson's not a violent crime either. Victimless. No, we're led to believe that all these people, they just come here, they want a better life, they do no bad. It's just entirely false. I'm not willing to accept that. I'm not willing to accept that, I guess, presumption, because it's untrue. A majority of these people have done crimes, either here or abroad, prior. And we're led to believe that, oh, we're just arresting all the good people. There are no good people. They've all done crimes. I mean, if I was in charge, you know how crazy this is? I'd charge you per step that you walked across this border illegally. Say every step was an illegal one. You took 100 steps, that's 100 different charges you're going to have to battle in court. That's how I'd do it. Obviously, we don't do it that way. We're backing down right now, doing only criminal, violent, whatever that means. Whatever that means. You had the opportunity to double down with these Minneapolis protests. You chose to go soft. Like I've said before, the Trump always chickens out people. They're not wrong. It seems that it is the case once again. We're at 400,000 immigrants detained, arrested by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement this year. Thought we were promised millions. Or that was just last year alone, not this year. If we had 400,000 already this year, I'd be clapping right now, cheering. But we're not getting that. We're getting 400,000 and declining. We're chickening out. Probably not going to ever get the SAVE Act. These people are going to be voting. I'm going to grant mass amnesty to people who are doing crimes in our nation. We're just okay with it. It's disgusting. It's sad. It's not what I voted for. I would have voted for doubling down on this. That's what I would have voted for. But I guess my vote didn't count. Never does. Never does. That's where we're at. ICE is being called back, reined back in. Deportations aren't speeding up. They're slowing down. We're accepting that less than 14% of these people are violent, whether their actions have consequences to others or not. You know, we're afraid to speak on. We're afraid to address. We're afraid to speak out against. This thing's still lagging. Oh, it's lagging bad right now. Can I fix that? We're at like 13 frames. Guess my internet's going bad too. This has just been such a bad day. I'll give it a second and see if this will work. Maybe a refresh? I hope. Has this helped at all? Okay, it seems like that might have worked a little bit. Okay, I think we're back. Sorry about that. Internet's cutting out, computer's going bad, camera's cutting out. Things aren't going good here, I guess, guys. Not good at all. But I guess as I was saying, I don't know why we're backing down from this. People that do things, the children aren't good people. I think we've had this discussion before. People that sell drugs are not great people. I don't know if we've had that discussion before. But it's not victimless. You're led to believe that some of these things are victimless. They always have victims. And sometimes you're the victim. You're just unknowing of it. You pay for embezzlement. You pay for fraud. You pay for burglary. DUIs aren't victimless crimes. People actually do pass away from drunk drivers. It's a fact. It's a fact, but we're not willing to say that's a violent crime. Whether people could die from it or not. Whether it could take your life away, a loved one's life. It's not violent. It's okay until somebody gets hit. It's not okay. It was never okay. Don't drink and drive. It's ridiculous. It's dangerous. There's way too many people that have lost loved ones because of it. I was driving to and from work this week. I can't even count the amount of please drive safely signs. And I can only imagine that some of these are people that have just swerved off a straight road. I mean, the road had been straight for 5 miles. There's a sign over on the side. It says, please drive safely in memory of so-and-so. Probably passed 20 of these each way to work this weekend. I can only imagine. And some of them were DUIs, and I can only imagine how their families feel. Never being able to hug, kiss, talk to, share experiences with these people ever again. And it's probably safe to assume that some of these were drunk driving incidents, DUIs. It's not a victimless crime. So that 14% that they give you is absolute crap. If you've had any charges at all, I think they need to run with that number, which is 60% of the abysmally low 400,000. 60% of these people have committed crimes or are being charged with more. I guess you can feel bad for the other 40%. I don't. Like I said, if I was in charge, every step would have been another count. Step number 3, count number 3. Step number 400, count number 400. You had the chance to double down, and you chickened out. But I've had enough of that. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. We've already picked which way we're going. We're going down the road of mass amnesty. We're going down the road of Europe. Gonna go full Spain and grant them all citizenship. I bet that's the road we're going down. They'll all be citizens by 2030. And we'll have, people roaming the streets, and I don't know what else I would call them other than militias at our national monuments. Saw this documentary of Paris. People are not Parisians, that's for sure. They're under the Eiffel Tower, functioning as a gang, trying to sell these trinkets, I guess you would call them. You upset one of them, they all jump you. That's just the way Europe looks right now. If I said what I'm doing right now in the UK, I'd be in jail for life. They'd take this 30-minute stream right now and put me in prison forever. But that's the road we're going down. We've chosen. I guess I'm upset. It's not what I voted for. I voted for doubling down. I voted for actual law and order. What I got was mass amnesty. I got mass amnesty. We'll move on to our last topic of today. Not much really has been going down. There's been the journalist mom that was abducted. That's the only thing that's really been on the news, while all this other stuff is going down in the background, such as Iran. We're still continuing negotiations, which I guess is good. It holds off the imminent war, as I see it now. Imminent war that we're bound to experience, and I'd give it 2 weeks, maybe a month. Probably a month tops. We're moving way too many assets into the region for nothing to happen. I guess a loss for the nothing ever happens crowd. I think there's going to be at least some sort of strikes. But the U.S. has set out 3 key demands for Iran for these negotiations. These demands are that they do not pursue nuclear weapons or nuclear enrichment, that they do not attempt or continue producing ballistic missiles, and that there is no continued funding of terror resistance groups across the region. Those are our key demands. No nuclear weapons. Stop producing ballistic missiles. And stop funding terror. I don't even know if they're the main funders of terror at this point. I think you could easily argue that the U.S. funds most of it. We've slowly found out. We fund about every group through 3-letter agencies, backdoor deals. But it's, intended to make sure that we continue to support war in the region that has nothing to do with us. No actual effect on us whatsoever except for oil prices. And it drives up oil prices on the U.S. consumer. So, that's the victory we get, I guess. Higher prices on oil products, higher prices, loss of life. But in the increasing troop movements to the Middle East, we have over 112 C-17 military aircraft headed to the Middle East. People have claimed that this is the highest amount since Operation Desert Storm. These are big transport aircraft, can carry hundreds of troops, large amounts of military equipment, over 170,000 pounds of military equipment. It's a lot. But it seems like we're getting all prepared for something to go down there. Moving assets in, moving people in. We're honestly encircling Iran. We've got Vice President J.D. Vance in Armenia today. He's meeting, probably establishing relations for support or at least use of their facilities during this. Because if you don't know, Armenia does border, I do believe, Iran. If I'm not mistaken. Sorry. Let me make sure. Armenia. Yes. It borders Iran. We got C-17 flights going into there as well. Vice President, relationship building with them. We've got assets, encircling Iran, Azerbaijan, Armenia, UAE, Kuwait, Egypt even. Just everywhere in the region we're flooding it with troops, military equipment, aircraft. So I think this is going to be a tragic loss for the Nothing Ever Happens crowd. It seems like something's going to happen. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly. I don't think it's as clean as last time, given the demands. I think it's going to snowball into something probably every American is against. I guess except for the neocons, the warhawks. They're probably squealing, applauding right now, getting excited. Getting excited for body bags, as they do. That's where we're at with Iran. I don't think it'll be long. I saw last week somebody estimated it would be 2 weeks from last week. I don't think they're too far off. I think we'll see it sooner rather than later. There's also the issue of the New START treaty's expiration, which is on nuclear weapons. It capped U.S. and Russia's amount deployed amount in reserves, kept them about even. China never signed on, but that's expired, I believe, as of Friday. Maybe earlier than that, actually. But it expired. There's no rules right now on that. So that's a worry for a lot of people. A worry that not only with Iran that we might turn it the glass, but that Ukraine could also suffer the same fate. President Trump says he's working towards a new version of this nuclear treaty. I believe he also wants to include other countries, not just Russia and the US. There's obviously China, who has nuclear weapons, the quickest growing arsenal right now. There's Iran that seeks to build nuclear weapons. India and Pakistan both have nuclear weapons. Great Britain and France also have, United Kingdom, I guess I should say, both have nuclear weapons. Probably neither one of them should, but they do. There's the question of whether Israel has nuclear weapons. They claim they don't. Everybody else in the world thinks they do. But they're looking to make a new, modernized version of the New START Treaty. Probably should include all these nations. But right now it's lapsed. So you can, I guess, wonder whether anybody's willing to use them or not. Right now would be the time to do so. I think that's all I have for you guys today. I thought it was going to be shorter. It ran forever. So lots to talk about. Lots of random, smaller things. I'll go through the chats here in a second. Make sure you guys have, if you haven't already, drop a like. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Rumble. Share with somebody if you want. I'd appreciate it. Also, obviously, appreciate your guys' viewership. Love that you guys stick around, hang out, talk and chat. I like interacting with you guys. I like being able to inform people of, blind spots in media coverage. So I don't think they're often talking about the fact that right now there is no nuclear treaty. There's obviously the promise of assured destruction, but there's nothing stopping production right now. You can just shoot one and replace it, I guess, right now, and nobody'd be none the wiser. Nobody'd be able to do anything. That's where we're at. So I'll go through these chats. I'll wrap it up, and then I guess I'll see you guys at 4:45 tomorrow. Coin that phrase, virtue signaling is the currency that gets you by these days. Maybe. Put it on a t-shirt. How about that? I'm kidding. Maybe I should do that. Make you guys walking billboards. Say, virtue signaling is the currency that gets you by these days. That official Sam Jones. Walking billboard people. I like that. You don't walk bail free for streaking. That's reserved for robberies and serial assaults. Probably. You can probably throw murder into that. It's like, you didn't streak. You can go. You had a bad childhood. It was probably really rough there. We'll let you continue your crimes. Continue your public terror. It's a weird world we live in, isn't it? It's a really, really, really weird world. Brave New World wasn't accurate. It's a strange new world. That's where we're at. A strange new world. So that's all we have for today. I'll be back tomorrow, 4:45 Eastern time. Hopefully I can get some of these bugs worked out tonight. I don't intend to go down to 11 frames and 3% packet loss every episode. I also don't intend to freeze twice every episode. And I don't intend to start late because my stream won't start every episode. But that's where we were today. Just getting back into the rhythm. Had a fun weekend. Was doing videography for another race, which was always fun. It's always a good time. It's hard this weekend, but you know that is work. Work is hard. We all know this. Unless you're on food stamps, then it's not hard because you just kind of do a little bit of paperwork and they send you money every month. It's just nice. I wish I did that. I have like 3 kids running around, food stamps, filling up in bags of chips and fruit gushers at Walmart. Oh, that would be magical. That would be magical. But we're not doing that. We're waiting until marriage. Can't have kids out of wedlock. Makes your kids bad. Makes them get free bail for robberies and serial assaults. That's just the way it is in America. Talk about two-tiered justice. Want to talk about two-tiered justice. All right, I'm going to end it there. I'll go crazy. I don't want to get banned for something silly like that. I don't think I could be. There's nothing wrong with using SNAP benefits at Walmart for sugary snacks and processed foods. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Might be something wrong with saying you shouldn't have kids out of wedlock. That might get me banned, though. People will be angry about that. I'll be real angry about that. So I'll say it again. Don't have kids out of wedlock. There's your moral of the story today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you're dropping a like. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Sign off here. Tell my people on the East Coast, I hope you get home safe. Tell my people further west, I hope you finish up your workday strong. Get home safe as